Hey, this is Mike Smith, and you're listening to and watching No Shortcuts. Um, Guys, I just got off of work today, and I had this on my mind. It kind of came to me. Some friends of mine and I have been having conversations, and even at work, and I kind of talked about the Bible a little bit. You know that good book right here, that one there. Um, and I think it's important when we talk to our friends that we don't come off churchy. So I just want to call this conversation today that we'll talk about is I don't want to get churchy. Really, we don't. I know I don't. And Micah 6:8 talks about it, and it says in the King James Version, He has showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with thy God. I think that's important for us. When we're with our friends and we're having conversations, and they know you go to church and you love the Lord, but they know you're not perfect either. So, with that being said, you want to make sure when you're with them, if the topic comes up, because it doesn't always have to be you bringing this up about God every time you turn around. And you know, I'm not saying that the Lord doesn't speak to you. I'm not even going to say any of these things like that, that it's not dropped on your mind. I just want to talk about us individuals with our friends and family of not coming off really churchy. I think it's important for us to, number one, lead with the real life and not with religious language. I think it's important. Just they know we're not perfect. They know it. And if they're family members, they really know you. So we don't need to fake it until we make it to heaven. Or I love the other kind of analogy that what was that? You're so godly you're so minded that you're no earthly good. Excuse me, like I said, I just got off work and I just wanted to share this with you. And I think we can come off the way sometimes by accident, or maybe we even want to impress them of our Bible knowledge that we might have, because not everybody out there could be as smart as you are about the Bible. And I don't think it's our job to prove to them how much they don't know. Instead of when we're talking to real life situations with our friends and all, instead of talking about church terms, let's talk about everyday experiences. Like, uh, for instance, say that helped me stay calm. Instead of the Lord gave me peace in that moment. You know, because they look at that kind of odd for a second. You could be talking about something like, "Man, I was really going through something, but just I was going through this situation, and this is what I did to really help me stay calm." Just sometimes it takes work to come up with a description of what you're talking about, and you take the lazy one sometimes, or even by not even knowing it, that you're going to use the Lord gave me peace at that moment. Well, those that maybe aren't Christians don't understand that, and you can kind of come off a little bit kooky. So just be honest with them and just stay yourself and share with them just how we talk in general. We don't have to use Bible verbiage. If you want to use that in the church and speaking with other church members, go right ahead. I've been around enough of them that they still sound crazy to me, and I know how they are in church. They're great people, but it still comes off kind of weird. Number two, think of this: live it more than you say it. Mm? um, Actions speak louder than words. I think that's important. You let them see your kindness, your reliability, to listen well, and being fair and compassionate. These are important things. The integrity of who you are. It speaks louder than anything that you could tell them about the Bible, because they're going to see the Bible in you in some way or another. Either too much, like they might think that, man, man, you must think that you walk on water, that kind of thing, or they can just see it. in the way you live and go, I know he loves the Lord. I know he goes to church, and there's something different than him about him that I don't see in other people, and I think that's how we should be. Number 3, share, don't sell. That's a good one. If faith comes up, talk about it as your experience, which was great. Um, and it shouldn't be a conclusion that other people draw to, because if they don't know. Um, for instance, again, remember we talked about, hey man, I was really going through this. I got some bills coming up. I don't know what to do about this. Uh, you could use what helps me is being able to really just calm down, assess the situation, kind of look it over, and come up with a game plan. Yeah, that would work. Or instead of saying, I just had to give it to God. I'm just gonna lay these down at the altar, and He's gonna take care of these bills. I still don't understand that today when I hear it, because I really consider it a cop out, because you don't have an answer to the situation, and you're just throwing it up in the air and giving it to God, kind of doing a LeBron, just hitting your hands and hoping something comes into play. I don't think the Lord wants us to act that way, and I'm sure know your friends are going, okay, well, good luck on that one, buddy. Uh, um, it kind of looks like blind faith to me. And when you're talking to people that don't understand living for the Lord, that it really comes off nutsy. Number 4, let them set the depth. If a friend asks questions, go deeper. If they don't, keep it light, man. Everything doesn't have to be philosophical, or talking about the Bible here, getting heavy into scriptures, and just match their curiosity and comfort level about your conversation. That maybe they have questions about the Lord, and uh, respect when the conversation naturally shifts. Got to pay attention. Listen. Uh, they might only had one question about the Bible. You should only assess what they're asking and answer that. I'm sure you're going to say, well, what if the Lord leads me? Well, I think that you should use wisdom. Bible speaks of wisdom. There's a time and place for everything. And at that moment, you're going to have to really be conscious of what you're talking about. And if they have a need and they're asking you maybe about church and what you think, and you could just go off the hinge like, man, I went to church and church was on fire. God was all over the place. And they're going to look at you like you're crazy. Or you could say, man, we had a really good church service. The pastor spoke, or the youth pastor spoke, or the choir, or the music was fantastic today. It was a good service. Really had a great time. I was really, really blessed with the service today. That's fine. But if you want to go heavy on somebody, maybe if they're asking about what is your opinion about where you stand on a certain political subject, be careful, be conscious, make sure they're not gaslighting you or setting you up. Don't want to remember, we talked about this. We don't want to get into that. We're friends. We're going to have conversations and understanding that. And I think even though they're your friends or family, do not take that into consideration to yourself, that you can go wherever you want and they'll just deal with you because they know you. That's not fair. I think, what is this here? Oh, that's what that was. Oh, okay. I moved something over here. I had to fix it. Okay, number 5, avoid constant moral commentary. Not every situation needs a lesson. Sometimes friends just want empathy. You know, uh, that's really hard. I get why you're frustrated. Those kind of things. I get it. It's tough. You don't have to go Bible every time something goes on. You can just be their friend. Now, if the only conversations you can have is that everything you're saying is, well, the Lord led me here, or the Lord told me that, or the Lord was just talking to me today, you're really going to turn off a lot of people to be able to trust just to have a casual conversation with you, because they're gonna limit themselves to talking to you because they don't wanna hear this. You sounding crazy, talk to them. You're one step away from a big sweater and a padded room. So, I think that let's be smart about this, and let's be real when you know, when you're with them, just be just be you. And if you is what we just talked about, might need to work on some of that. And don't you take it. And you should never take it. Well, that's just how I am. That's how the Lord is using me. They're just going to have to deal with it, or they can go over. Then you have missed the boat on what's really true about your friends, your family. You're not to isolate yourself on an island with all these Christians just on the island, because what good is it being with all of them if you're supposed to be a witness and an example? Look, again, we're not perfect, and you don't have to be, but you do need to be real and honest with them. And when you don't have an answer to maybe just they're talking about a situation, you don't have to have the answer. You could just have, you know, man, I get it. I understand. Man, I went through something like that, and I understand it hurts. But you're gonna get through this. And if you feel at that point that you would like to ask them if they like to pray about it, fine. But you need to be sensitive about that. I, I got Christian friends that they pray for you in a heartbeat. They pray for you over a cough. There were times where I didn't want to tell them anything because the first thing they want to do is pray with me every time. Instead of just like, man, just take some Tylenol and get some hot tea or whatever. Get that out of you. But instead it was always throwing the Lord on me, and I'm going, that's not what I'm looking for right now. And I know you mean well, but you know what? I would take an old granny's recipe on how to get better just as quick as you giving me about Bible. But right now, I just want you to listen to me. And I think number 6 is really important for us too. um, I think no. Let's go back one more time too with the number 5. Let's avoid, also that, like you said, the constant moral commentary where we want to build trust with them. And we don't want to frustrate them when they can't talk to us. We want to just build a relationship and not be like the joke of every conversation. Man, I was talking to Mike, and you can believe what he said about what the Lord told him. I don't think that's always great. That is fun now and then to be part of the joke. It is. It's fine. But they should be able to go, I can go to Mike about anything, and he's not going to judge me. He's always listening. He always has something encouraging to say. And when he does have something to say to me directly, he means it, and it's not always God telling him, "Oh gosh, how many times the Lord told me to tell you," or just speak to them and be their friend and their family member. Be okay with differences. I think it's very hard for Christians. You don't have to correct every belief or behavior. Um, I had a young lady ask me one time uh, that she said that she sees Jesus all the time and every day. And she asked me if I saw Jesus every day. And I was like, no, I don't see her. I don't see him. I haven't ever seen him. But if you do, what's he look like? I didn't know what to use. I don't want to be too offensive. I just wanted to be kind of funny about it with them. And she giggled. Um, I've had other friends just say to me, I'm just not into the Jesus thing or the Christian thing. And that's okay. You're still my friend, man. I love you. It's okay. We can have our differences. We can agree to disagree and still be friends and break bread together. That's what we should be able to do. There's always a medium we should be able to find with each other. I don't have to agree with the lifestyle that they have, and they don't have to agree with mine, but I love them. Uh, there are going to be some times in your life where there's going to be some morality decisions that you're gonna go, "I'm not gonna do this with the guy," or "I'm not gonna hang out over here. I'm a married man, I'm not gonna go do that," you know? Um, but that is there's nothing wrong with that. But it's okay to have differences. It's okay for them not to believe. It's okay if you have a friend that's a Catholic and maybe you're a Protestant, or you're a Jehovah Witness and you're a Mormon. It's okay if you have differences, and you can still be peaceful and friends. Uh, it's not our job to save the world. It's our job to be an example to the people that we know. And I think it's important again with Micah 6 and 8, to be humble, and uh, justly, and have love. And we need to have compassion and mercy on our friends and family, and even strangers out there in this world today. Number seven is my favorite one, and that is use humor and humility. Being able to laugh at yourself and admit you don't have all the answers goes a long way. I am so transparent. That's why I'm doing this. And it's not hard for me to be transparent, because I laugh at myself on a lot of things that I've done wrong. And there are times I don't give myself enough credit for what I've done right. But I'm able to use my life in conversations with others uh, about life in general. And we can do that. And we could do that maybe with talking with the Lord, if we feel about the Lord, if we feel that that conversation can come in. An instance, man, I've had a bad day today. Since I got up this morning, Mike, I'm telling you, I should have just rolled over and stayed in bed. I've had bad luck all day long. Okay. Now we're all going to know this person. They're sitting in the the first three rows of church in the middle. So they would say, "Well, I would just rebuke the devil. That's just the devil. I'm just going to get up in anyway and say, 'Not today, Satan.'" Those kind of things. And well, I just got up and start praising him. It's I find that those things are great to say to people in church. I find it very humorous and funny when they use it. Even when they're sincere, I find it really humorous. I'm going, they really mean this. But when you're with friends, family, and strangers, and they're telling you they had a hard day, you can go, man, there are those days we're all going to have. Some days you're the hammer, some days you're the nail. Get up. We get going. You know, the bills don't stop coming in. We just get up. We have bad days. We got to talk. Man, I've had to talk myself. I've sat on the end of a bed and just on a bad job that I had and said, is this the day that I'm going to quit? Is this the day? I would sat there at the end of that bed and go, is this the day? And I got up and put my pants on one leg at a time, socks on one foot at a time. And it was the longest period of getting ready just to get to the car. Let's not even talk about how long it took to get, how I felt from the car to the job and walking in. So we can use these as really great humor and reflection and sharing with them and saying, look, I understand. I've been there. There are going to be times where we don't always have the answer. We can just go, man, I'm sorry that you're going through. That's got to suck. That's about what I would say. Man, I haven't been down that road, but it sounds like it sucked. And dude, yeah, man, it still sucked. Man, I'm sorry you're going through this, but you're gonna be all right. I'm just gonna, or you can say, if you feel the moment, go, I'm gonna pray about this over. Just keep you in my prayers tonight. You don't have to say it, but I think that if you know the person well and they would take that as you're saying that you love them because you want to pray for them and you care, that you should share that. Nothing wrong with that. Now, you can be the other one, third row back, middle section, who says, let me pray for you right now, and grabs your hands. Hell, they might even want to put a hand on your forehead, just palm you. I I don't know if that's gonna be a really successful thing. I've heard many times where they've walked away going, "Man, I laid hands on so many people today," and I'm wondering how many out of them really you reached them, or was that something that you felt and you got gratitude for? Why don't we just let God get all the glory and we just kinda get out of the way? "Hey, I'm Mike. I'm nobody, but I know somebody." I I've had the privilege of knowing some pretty tough guys in my life. I still know them, we're joking around, and someone said, "Man, I could kick your tail." And I'll go, "Yeah, you can, but I know somebody can kick yours." Well, um, the same way in life now. Look, you, you got a bad day. I get it, but I know somebody who can really make it better. I'll just keep you in prayer. Or, man, we'll just go through this together today. He comes to work. Mike, I'm having a hard day today. I've had that as a manager. And I'll go, look, we're going to get through this together. Let's do this. What's going on? And we will just read the room with them. Just read the room. And if they know you're there to help them out and you see them dragging, you come by and you're like, you good? That's a common word around my area. The word "you're good," and not just saying exactly what it means. But it's out of sincerity. So just remember, when we're with our friends and our friends and family and even strangers, we're going to just be careful of not being so churchy. Don't need to be. They'll know who you are and what you do. Look, you're not perfect, and you're not going to say the right words. You're going to swear here or there. Maybe you don't. I do from time to time. Um, and I think that with those things being said, they don't, I'm not going to be their stumbling block by being their friend. I could be their stumbling block by being just a little too churchy. So I would just want to encourage you guys today. Hey, look, the next time you have a conversation, just be real with them, be down to earth. Don't sound like you just got out of a really great revival service with them every time you talk to them. If you feel like the Lord's leading you to talk to them about something, you should. But I would really use discernment and just with every conversation you have, because I believe it's our responsibility that because we know we should, the best of our ability. And when we slip, we're gonna get grace. God gives it to us anyway. And I'm banking on my friends and family to give me the same thing. And the stranger that I talk to, I'm hoping they just see a human being reaching out and being sincere without any kind of, without any kind of upsetting them or any kind of uncomfortableness. Well, guys, look, it's a great day. Work was fantastic. I got some more stuff coming up. I started the diet, had a delicious dinner we'll talk about later. I don't even want to talk about the dinner. It's not that fun. The only thing I'm getting good out of this dinner right now is I like eggs. So I'm kind of eating some boiled eggs with my meals right now. I don't know if my wife's really gonna enjoy the after effects after day 6, but we're gonna find out with that. I'm feeling good, doing better. I'm excited. Again, I want to thank you guys for hanging in here with me, Mike Smith, and No Shortcuts. I am going to be back soon. You guys have a good night.